Welcome to Marsha's Plate, a Black trans-inclusive feminist podcast. A place where we know that not everybody is invited to the cookout. And we also know that every single day is a brand new day, and we have the power to make a difference today. So let's do this.
It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to turn it all around again. It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to start over again. Tuesday, when the sun rises, you can start over again. A new day, you can make it better than yesterday. It's a new day, it's a new day, new day. There's a way you can turn it around. Trust me, there's a way out. There's more time. Just don't give up. When the sun rises on a new day, you got another chance. Yeah, 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 yeah. A new day, you got another chance.
If you want to join the conversation, you can hashtag Marsha's Plate. You can follow us on most social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Just search for Marsha's Plate, MARSHASPLATE. Y'all ready? Let's get started. What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
Peace, peace, peace. What's good?
We opening up Pride Month with a dog walking at the graduation.
Yo,
Baby, honey, that
was pretty
child
wild.
said that I am out and proud and I'm going to drag you out proudly in the middle of this graduation ceremony and beat you like a dog. Baby, he walked that man like a chihuahua.
Yeah, it was a lot going on. It was a lot
Baby
going
has some
on.
skills. Honey, somebody needs to contact Baby who beat the uncle up. Contact him, honey. Get him in the ring. Get that child trained, honey. Martial arts or something. What's going on?
So wait. It wasn't his uncle. It was his father. So I watched his live last night and he explained it all. He basically, so this is what happened. He basically moved out from his father's house because he was, his father was abusive. He was like, yo, I'm going to just move with my auntie. And so because he moved out with the auntie, that caused a kind of a problem. And the father was telling him that he shouldn't come to the graduation because he was going to have a problem with him. He was like, nigga, I don't want you to come. But he was like, no, I'm coming to support my brother graduating. So that really ain't got nothing to do with you. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I'm just going to sit and be there to celebrate my brother. And the father got up in his face, as we saw the whole part, and start telling him move and get up and da 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 da. He was like, at first, I'm trying. It's not that he literally said, I'm not scared of you. As you can see now, I'm not scared of your motherfucking ass.
Everybody knows you're not scared.
Now I'm really not scared, motherfucker. We got verification that I could walk you like a dog at any given time, even on steps, nigga. When you on the higher step, nigga.
I didn't even realize it was his father. I thought he was a random person just being an asshole, just being a homophobic asshole at the graduation. I didn't realize it was literally his dad.
His dad.
Well, that's a conversation in itself because, that's a conversation in how viral videos, how the narrative can get all twisted. Because I saw a post where they were saying that it was the uncle of his boyfriend and the uncle didn't want him sitting with the family. But I also saw people windmilling in the comments of that same video with that same caption saying something about a dad or a father as well. So
I got it from his live. I watched his live.
No, I totally believe you, but I think that that's a conversation in itself. How narratives.
Yeah,
let's keep that in mind. I was like Jay. I thought it was just a random incident that kind of happened, and then when I went in the comments, I seen an uncle. Then I went in the comments, seen dad. I was like, oh, it's all kind of weird ass stories happening in the comments. But when then my friend Javon, who's been on the show, shared with me
his live, and I was like, oh, he's talking about it. I was like, okay, cute. So once I got the tea like that, I was like, oh, my mindset was I would be so fucking ashamed and embarrassed if I was the other brother. Not only is my fucking family fighting at my graduation, even if it was random. But the fact that it's my brother and my gay brother and my motherfucking daddy, I would be so embarrassed. That is so ghetto and trashy. And while I love ghetto, I don't like this side of the ghetto.
Yeah.
This is, the way my PTSD and my ghetto is mixed up and set up together. I'm completely on this child's side, honey. I ain't gonna lie to you, honey. At my big age that I'm at right now, I would still dog walk my father if I had the opportunity and he tried it. And I wouldn't give a fuck where we were.
Yeah.
Baby, that trauma is real, and that trauma is the parenthood trauma from your parents. That shit reeks, especially whether or not they were in your life. Even the trauma from absentee parents is real.
Have y'all ever had a moment like that in y'all life with y'all parents that y'all grew up with, where you kind of, as you got older, maybe in your teenage years or early 20s, where you had to kind of buck up to them and it was like, yo, this might get crazy. Like we might have to go there. Have y'all ever been in that situation with your parents, like your mom or your dad?
Absolutely have.
Absolutely not. Now, man,
Jay said,
absolutely
nah.
not for me. No. If I, you know what I'm saying? No. I definitely was in a household where it's like, you're not gonna look at me funny. Okay, like fuck all this other shit. Looking at me funny. Did you forget who you are and who the fuck I am? So, but my mom didn't cuss like that. But still, to the point. No, she didn't play that. But later I would say in my 30s, in my early 30s, I had a moment with like that with my father years after our transition because shit got a little funny. And we kind of had a little moment where it was kind of like, he was like, you sizing me up? And I was like, no, I just need you to calm. Like, it was kind of like shit flashed before his eyes. Like, this child could whoop my ass. Yeah. Stop playing in my face. Stop playing. Particularly after my mom passed. So stuff was still kind of tension and stuff like that. But not with my mama. Absolutely not. But yeah, with my daddy, a little bit later, yeah, we had a little moment.
When I was it was like twice. It was like twice that something happened. It was one. Well, I don't want to count the first one. That just was the first one was the first time I ever like cussed at her, like where it was like saying a cuss word, like bitch, stop fucking playing with me. But where it was like it was a physical. It was a physical situation.
I would be unalive.
Yeah, no. My mom is that too, but bitch, I'm that too. It got to a point where once I got to a certain age,
right,
you can't play with me. And my mom is real disrespectful on some shit where she does sometimes she does too much. But this particular time where I felt like, oh, it's about to get physical. I think I was like 18 and like I said, it was only one time before that when I was like 16 that my mama was just poking me. And she said she was doing it on purpose to see how far I would go. But she just was poking me. And I got out. I left the spot, but when I left, I called her a bitch. And she was like, remember I was leaving.
right on your way out.
On my way out.
Yeah, exactly.
But when that was when I was 16, but at 18 there was a situation where I was arguing with my grandmother and there was a whole situation. She was calling me all kind of fags and just my grandmother just being late like my grandmother normally is. And we just kept going back and forth, me and my grandmother, and my mother my mother told me to be quiet, don't say nothing else, just to shut up. And so, of course, I shut up and continued to wash the dishes. But my grandmother kept going. And so once she kept going, I started like, no, I have to say what I gotta say. So I said it. And my mother came in the room and said something she said something along the lines of, I told you to shut the fuck up. If you keep talking, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And at that moment, I picked up a clock, like a old, like one of them clocks you get from like Dollar Store, like a Dollar General or something, an old clock. And I took the clock. I did. I stopped talking, but I took the clock and said, "Boom!" and slammed it up against the wall to break it. And when I slammed it up against the wall, I said, "Do you think that I'm gonna let you beat my ass? If you think that I'm gonna let you whoop me, you crazy out of your motherfucking mind." And the way I said that is the first time that I had ever like threatened my mother. Yeah. And my mother looked at me and she said, "Oh, you grown. Okay." Mm-hmm. And she walked out. I started packing my shit up, and I packed my stuff. I was packing my suitcase up because I knew I was going to go with my to my cousin Bonnie's house at the time. And when I came out with the suitcase, she said, "Where the fuck you think you going?" I said, "If you got me to the point where I can disrespect you, and I know that there is nothing stopping me from beating your ass and her ass," talking about my grandmother and her, "that means I have gone too far because I have no respect for neither one of you bitches." Mm. And this is years of my mother trauma in regards to like her addiction. A lot of respect had been gone. I'm 18 at this point. There have been a lot of stuff going on. So the whole respect your mother because she did it, that had eroded so far down that if I got to this point, I actually don't want to be here. As a matter of fact, I don't want to be here, but I want you to know that you are never gonna be ever in a position where I'm gonna let you or her whoop my ass ever. Because we're gonna fight like motherfuckers on the street, because that's where we at now. Just so you know, that's where we at. And in that moment, my mother under fucking stood that I was grown. And she never tried me. Never tried me again. Never. It just was a certain mutual respect that we had after that. Of course, I came back and apologized, but I also said, even in my apology, we passed the whole whooping me. You ain't nobody in this world gonna ever put their hands on me. Period. I'm never, ever, ever. I don't care who it is. Mama, daddy, da 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 da. I'm at the age where, and I'm also at the age where remember, I had my own apartment when I was 16. So I wasn't in a situation where I'm living under your roof, and it just wasn't that party no more. And so I don't want you to confuse my respect for you and think that because you are my mom, that you can ever put your hands on me. That those days are gone. So I totally understood when I watched that and found when he was saying that about his dad. I was like, oh, I definitely could have twirled the fuck. I definitely could have twirled the fuck out of my dad. But I remember getting to that point with my mom where I'm like, oh, we would be in this motherfucker rumbling. That's just what it was. No longer is that motherly respect there. No, I respect you on a certain level, but where I'll let you hit me, no, nope.
I done been there, honey, plenty of times, more times than I can count, where it was a verbal altercation. To shorten the story, I lived with my grandmother. My grandmother pretty much raised me from birth, and she had started going through her own things, and I moved in with my mom when I was going to high school in the 9th grade. And moved in with my mom full time. She was always around, but my grandmother was my primary parent. And so I moved in with her, and for whatever reason, now keep in mind, I grew up in a household, and I was one of them kids that they say I must have been here before this, that, and the third. Honey, I used to tell grown people, even as a kid, like, I'm not respecting you just because you're an adult. Just like I have to earn your respect as a child, you have to earn my respect as a person. That's the type of shit I would say as a child. So that was a understanding for me very, very early on. And moved in with my mom, honey. She started feeling it on my time. Miss Mamas was feeling it on my time, and I was not having it. going through this unwanted, somewhat puberty, honey. The puberty wasn't even puberting like it was supposed to, honey. Baby, child, that's why this voice still sound this way, honey, because the puberty didn't puberate, honey, how it was supposed to. But honey, I didn't even want this much of a motherfucker change. And now Miss Mama's wanting to feel it on my time when everybody finally starting to recognize gender identity and sexual identity and all these things, you know, ninth grade. It was one time by this time I had warned her ass aplenty. I was calling my grandmother every other day, like, when the hell is you going to get me up out of here? When you going to be done going through your semester, sister? Because I need to get the fuck up out of here before I lose my mind, honey. Baby, and of course, it's some deep-seated stuff that don't even have nothing to do with me regarding my mom and my grandmother and raising me and all of that I won't get into publicly. But yeah, long story short, she felt it on my time. Keep in mind, my mom is about 4'10". Honey, I picked her ass up off her feet. I put her in the kitchen closet. I closed the door. And I put the chair in front of the door, and I continued to pump out of the house with my friends.
How old were you?
I was maybe either late ninth grade or 10th grade.
Okay.
You know, and she was wearing me thin as soon as I had moved in, and every day it was just something with her ass. And again, didn't have nothing to do with me. Some shit between her and my grandmother that was being taken out on me. You know, and I was like, hell to the fuck no. I'm not playing this game with you, Miss Ma'am, honey. And you think that your little ass is crazy? Well, bitch, you had me with another crazy motherfucker. So what do you think I am? Like, girl, you better stop playing in my face. And I put her in that damn closet, honey. By this time, Lord forgive me, she had already been a plenty bitches. So bitches and cussing at her wasn't working, honey. I put her ass in that motherfucking closet. And I let her know real quick, at the end of the day, you ain't stopping me from doing a motherfucking thing physically. And I'm tired of your goddamn mouth. So shut it the hell up. Don't you see that I done lost respect for you, just like Diamond said? And so, of course, that ended up making things worse because that incident solidified.
Wait, hold up, Bree. Wait. You picking your mother up at 14, put her in the closet, shutting the door, and putting the chair out by it, and then leaving with your friends made things worse?
Of course.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Wow,
It
I'm so surprised.
it made things worse. It made things worse in the sense that she became more combative.
Right.
Like this wasn't a stalemate. This wasn't an opportunity to be like, okay, my child is grown. Okay, my child has autonomy over themselves now. This wasn't an opportunity that she took to reflect. This was the opportunity that she took to become even worse and to be again even more combative. And ultimately it resorted in us having even worse situations with me being an adult where I lost even more respect for her. But again, I love my mother unconditionally. But yeah, she definitely, as I said on here before, she's definitely had some things to work through, just like any other person, you know.
Mm-hmm. You know, I never like cussed at my mom, but because similar to you, Bree, similar to all, like I spent a lot of my time in elementary school kind of in between my mom and my other mom, like my stepmom, but we don't do step in my family. So that's where I was partially raised, like that, going to school. And she's from down south. So she definitely didn't play. She whooped everybody in heartbeat. And all my older siblings grew up with, if one of y'all getting a whooping and fuck up, y'all all getting a whooping. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. But when I was around my mom, when I got back with my mom more like regularly, like full time, middle school, high school, you know, we would clash and I would ask questions. It's like, well, you told me to ask questions and I don't understand. And my sister was like, yeah, you know, what pissed her off is that, you know, like I didn't buy into the bullshit because you didn't, it's too late for that now. I'm 12, 13, 14. I can't, you know, I didn't, if I got it at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe. But all the bullshit that's coming is new. Now, again, I didn't cuss her out. Because I got one good whooping when I was younger. Because I think I shared this on the show before. Me and my cousin went out to the park and everything. Everybody was over there playing cards and stuff. And we got back after the street lights was off. My mom was like, go to your room. My cousin was like 6. I was probably like 8, 9. She was like, go to your room. And I go in the room and I'm like, I'm throwing shit up against the wall and just having just a fucking crazy temper tantrum. They on the other side of the wall is pictures, the adults hanging out, playing cards. My mama tore my ass up. You know what I'm saying? She tore it up. And after that, all she had to say to me, well, I'm talking like till she died. I mean, that's how much it fucked me up. She was like, are you having a temper? She didn't even have to say temper tantrum. Okay. She'd be like, you having a no, absolutely not. Absolutely. Ain't nobody temping. Ain't nobody tantrum. You know what I mean? But she did. We did bump heads. But my sister would say, you know, some of it was pissing her off because some of it was just childhood innocence. I'm like, why are you tripping about basic ed? You know what I mean? Because what Obama, it didn't jive. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, what the fuck? But like my mom could cuss you out without cussing. It was kind of like I was doing that to her. Low-key. You know what I'm saying? Over the years, and especially, you know, you get older, it's like, ma'am, I love you, I respect you. No.
Yeah, I think in this situation with the graduation, I hope that as I still feel when I watched him, I was like, oh, this is a kid. Like this reminds me of when I'm watching him talk, I was like, oh, this I can tell that he's really young. And I hope that with their situation, there can be some kind of reconciliation or whatever they could get through it. But I'm pretty sure dad is embarrassed. He has to be embarrassed to get dog walked by your son in that way. It just was an embarrassing and shameful situation for me, other than him. But even him, I still would be embarrassed, even if I'd won. Just the fact that I'm fucking going viral at my brother's graduation at a black school. It looked like a black school because I only saw a bunch of black people. So it looked like a black school. I'm like, oh, I would be so embarrassed. Just even if I had to fight my dad, anybody at somebody's graduation, I would be so ashamed. I remember I didn't even get in a fight at the graduation. I remember my aunt was getting into it with somebody at my cousin's graduation at Howard. Like a couple of years ago, she graduated like 2023 or 2024. I can't remember exactly. 2024. Anyway, she graduated from Howard, and my aunt was getting into it with this lady in front of us because the lady had a sign, some kind of sign, and it was blocking her view. And my aunt was being so extra about that lady and that sign. It was so tired and so late. And I was so ashamed that she was arguing just that little bit of acting ratchet at a graduation made me so hot. Like, I feel like I probably was turning red because just because how shameful it was to me. That was like, we are at
yeah, like
I was like, in my brain, I was like, we are at a historical black college and you are acting so ghetto. Why are you doing this? It was so shameful to me. But yeah.
Y'all make me feel like the ratcheteer, honey. Y'all make me feel like the ratcheteer because, honey, I would not have gave any fucks. Did you?
Oh my God.
Baby, I would not have gave any fucks. I was convinced that if my father did show up to my graduation, that him and my mother was going to tussle. And therefore, he did not show up to my graduation. Honey, baby, and I ain't going to tell her business, but she was off the hook that day, baby. She was feeling it. Honey, but I must be the ratcheteer because when I looked at that incident, all I thought I said, fuck all them people in my head, honey. And all I thought was Miss Sophia. All my life I had to fight. Honey, that's what I was saying about every time that child popped him. I seen Miss Sophia with that black eye getting her revenge, honey, on Miss Daisy, baby. But anyway, yeah, no, I would keep the Kiki going. You know, for Christmas, I would get my father a gift. It would be a leash and a collar.
Yo, honestly, seeing that video, it put me in like auntie mode because it's like clearly I just felt for the baby for this child. You clearly on autopilot, so this ain't the first time.
Right.
Like clearly, this is not the first time. Like you know what I'm saying? And then kept after they got separated, kept.
Yes,
Clearly, this is not the first time. Yeah, yeah.
I remember people in the comments was talking about how y'all gonna leave these gay people alone. We've been teased and fighting all our motherfucking life, so we ready to unleash on your motherfucking ass.
I don't know why they don't understand from the shit that they see us do to each other. Do you really think that we won't do that to you too, bitch? Like, or worse? Like,
Yeah,
baby, I didn't maced somebody who is in my chosen family with bear mace, not me personally. But I'm just saying some of the shit you can see the gays doing on the internet, bear macing each other and shit and all that,
At
and
the
then sleeping in the same bed the next night. Bitch.
yeah. I mean, I I think being like a gay girl, it's a different navigation for a lot of people. I'm not saying people don't got to fight, but definitely don't. At least in my experience, and from people I know, like it's definitely not to the same degree of bullying that folks assigned male at birth have to deal with. If people think you're a little queer, a little gay, a little not, you know what I'm saying? Like
Again,
so
y'all
many
making
people,
me
like
feel
yeah,
ratchet. Again, y'all making me feel ratchet. And I feel like the universe has been setting this up, baby. Maybe I should have reached out to their father before the graduation and said, leave your child alone when you get there. Because the universe, I was just having a flashback from not too long ago from a girl that I know who didn't even come out she couldn't even get out the closet all the way before her mother wanted to fight, honey. But her mother had been abusive all their motherfucking life anyway. Long story short, she dog walked her mother at the corner, honey, from where I grew up, the house that I grew up on, honey, the corner of Cornish Drive, baby, and Camellia Street. Honey, y'all remember all the people listening from Cambridge, honey? Y'all remember when Ia whipped Tanya ass on the corner of Camellia Street and Cornish Drive? Dog walked her ass in front of Tina Valina house. Keep in mind, her mother was twice her size, height and weight. Ia was always known to be able to motherfucking fight. Shout out, what's going on, girl? Honey, Ia was always known to be able to fight, honey. But they said that her mother could fight too. That's where she had got the skills from, honey. Well, her mother must have been a little rusty because Ia worked her ass out, honey.
I'm rusty.
Well,
Yes, rusty. And it was just a very similar situation to this graduation situation. Like everybody's trying to get the mom to chill because she's getting her ass whipped. And she's steady trying to comfort the girl, and every time she get reaching distance, she get popped. Bloop, never spoke none.
You said bloop, bloop.
But yeah, so long story short, I've seen it. I've seen it both ways. I've seen it happen with girls, as well. I've seen it happen with people assigned female at birth. Yeah, I've seen where I grew up, and even here in Baltimore, honey, it's common for the studs and the trans men to have to whip their father's ass.
I just know, I guess for me in my life, the difference, yes, physical violence, I have seen it more on the assigned male at birth side.
A lot more. It's a lot of icing.
Yeah. But that kind of psychological warfare with the girls, I saw a lot with the assigned female at birth gays. I wouldn't say that it was a lot of it's not that I didn't not no violence at all, but I saw more of the physical bullying with the boys, and with the girls it was like, oh, being shady and just
a lot of icing, a lot of icing, a lot of cold bullshit. And more recently, like friends that I grew up with who are gay, cis dudes that's gay, have opened up to me about some of the bullying they were experiencing when we were in elementary school, middle school. Like I never even knew. Like I knew about some of it, but I didn't know. Like I'm like, damn, like the scale of it is just so much different. We was in, at that time, I think middle school-ish was the era of that's gay. Everything is gay. That's gay. This is gay. That's gay. This is gay as a epithet, But yeah, anyway, yeah.
Definitely.
I remember those moments of rage coming out when I was younger. I'm glad that they came out when I was younger because I needed more control in my adult life. But when I was younger, I feel like if I didn't have that, if I hadn't practiced that control at a younger age, that certain situation, like when I was at Jack and State, I probably would have been kicked out. If I, not that I did,
you popped off there if you didn't have no other point of reference. Absolutely.
even though I did get in fights there, but it was more, I just definitely had more control and just certain jobs. I love that I got my bullying rage as far as being queer and people bullying me, and I have to turn into a fucking werewolf and rage on their ass. I'm glad that I got that out in like elementary, and because it wouldn't have been useful in my adulthood. But anyway, this was just an opening conversation, and we want to know what y'all think about the situation, about the gay boy beating up his daddy at the graduation. I'm sorry for congratulations for graduating, and we sorry that your family had to twirl. But let us know what y'all think. Hashtag Marsha's Plate.
Okay.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Period.
Oh my God, I want to thank all of our new patrons this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, 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 yay. So not only are you helping to sustain this particular podcast, I also donate to other podcasts. I donate to other organizations. I have my finger on the pulse of the community, and I know a lot of grassroots organizations that are doing great work out here. So you're not only helping to sustain us, you're helping to sustain other people in a community, because I put my money where my mouth is. That's just the kind of bitch I am. Community as fuck. So thank you. I really, really appreciate you. And if you have not become a patron, why have you not? You can donate as low as $1 a month. It doesn't matter. Anything helps. Please. Do I have to play Sarah McLachlan and show you puppies? Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to resort to what the white people do to get you to give them money?
Anyway, the link is in the bottom. Back to the show. So this is the first day of Pride Month. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Be who you
are.
So
in trans LGBTQIA.
Listen, so while I am always prideful and love when Pride comes around, I also love this month because it's also Black Music Month. They coincide. So it allows me to not only celebrate being proud of being queer, but also celebrate the amazing Black artists that kind of made an impact in my life. And so my subject this week is going to be the intersection of pride and Black music. So I want to talk about the history of some Black queer musical icons. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so we're gonna start off with some common names. I'm gonna do some common names, but then I'm gonna go into ones that are more obscure that you might not know. So of course, first and foremost, I don't want to say foremost, but first, everybody knows Sylvester. You make me feel somebody real. The queen of disco, who had that massive hit, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, and Disco Heat. She also is the one who introduced us to who would go on to be 90s icon, Martha Wash. So her background singers was 2 Tons of Fun, Izora, and Martha Wash before they was famous. And then Martha went on to be, the dance icon as well.
But you can't forget the Weather Girls. They became the Weather Girls.
Yes, they became the Weather Girls. I didn't want to say that because I was talking about what you call it, but yes, they become the Weather Girls. And so Sylvester, we know that's a super popular one. Another one, and of course he passed away of complications with AIDS in 1982, but he was an icon, proud, loud, that kind of stuff. I do want to add the to this during this time, the disco sound with the synthesizer and da 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 da, all the people, all of Sylvester hits, and even some people he went on to work with. There also was a open gay person named Patrick Cowie, who, while he's not black, he was openly gay, and he was that genius behind that sound, one of the sonic architects behind disco and Sylvester's like greatest hits. And so I wanted to kind of mention him because because Sylvester is such an icon and so loud, he did have somebody behind him that also was helping him. Still, he wasn't just he Sylvester was just the voice. There was musicians behind him that was queer as well. That what one of the reasons you would think like, how does this super queer iconic person kind of grow in the ranks? Because they had some people behind them that believe not only in your voice but also I'm queer too, so let's make this music and see if we can make it happen. And so we see somebody with that kind of investment become an icon. Of course, recently known Jackie Shane, a pioneer Black trans woman, soul singer who dominated the 60s in Toronto music in Toronto. She was from America, of course, but she coming up in the with the likes of Little Richard, and in 2019 she got the historical was it Oscar or Grammy nomination? Grammy nomination for her album that they was honoring before she passed away. But what we found out when she got that honor, she was actually stealth and living stealth in her 80s because she left the music scene in the 60s and became a woman and start living stealth. So she was one of them people who was living out and proud as this queer musical trans icon that said, you know what, this limelight is kind of late. I'm about to just go stealth because that's what we did back in the day. And so this is somebody who had an impact, but then went stealth, and then boom, right before she died, she gets this nomination, and they had to literally go find her in obscurity. Another person, of course, Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith. Ma Rainey is the precursor to Bessie Smith. All of them were openly bisexual. They dealt with men and women, and they made songs about it. These are icons that they got movies about them. When we think about August Wilson's Black Bottom, Ma Rainey and Black Bottom, I think that was called. And we think about
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And Bessie Smith has a movie. Queen Latifah even played Bessie Smith in a movie. So we know that. Another common name is Billy Strayhorn. Billy Strayhorn is a jazz composer and pianist who was a part of Duke Ellington's band. And the popular song that he wrote with Duke Ellington was Take the A Train, super popular in jazz. When I think about gospel, I think about Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She is one of the rock and roll, we don't have rock and roll without that. But a fun fact about Sister Rosetta Tharpe that's relevant to her queerness is she started in gospel, and guess who was her rival?
Aretha.
No, Mahalia, way before Aretha. Mahalia. Mahalia Jackson was her.
I did not know that this lady was a queer.
Yes, and because she was queer, she was not allowed to flourish in the gospel arena. Who became the icon because she was straight was Mahalia
Jackson.
So, but both of them, William Dorsey wanted to work with Rosetta Tharpe because she was also a musician.
Thomas Dorsey.
Yeah.
Thomas A. Dorsey.
So he wanted to work with them and did work with both of them, but because of Rosetta's queerness, you ain't coming to church with all that foolishness at that time in that era. This is even before the common minister of music stereotype started to happen, where the gays were the minister of music. This was even before that, when they weren't. That wasn't the stereotype. You couldn't be gay.
Or a gay man.
A gay anything at
Yeah.
the church and be
Yeah.
accepted. That wasn't even
Right.
that wasn't this is precursor to even that stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
So she couldn't be as big as Mahalia, but Mahalia went on to be a gospel icon. But Rosetta went on to be a rock and roll icon, one of the
Mhm.
God foremothers of rock and roll. And so I wanted to talk about her. And then speaking of since we talked about a trans woman earlier with Jackie Shane, let's talk about a trans man. William Little Axe Broad Axe, also common if you anytime you see them lists of trans people when we have trans visibility, you're gonna see him more than likely. But musically, he is a trans masculine gospel tenor who fronted famously mid-century gospel quartets, one called the Golden Echoes, and he literally was like making gospel hits between 1940 and 1960. And so in that regards, this is a trans man who took the identity of his brother. Like he took the name and the identity and started to live his basically his brother's life. And his voice was, they loved his voice because it was like a high tenor. Of course, it was high tenor because, that could be a range that he would be able to sing. And so everybody loved it, and this is one of our gospel icons from the 40s. It's just so dope. Sadly, in 92, when he was older, his partner stabbed him to death. So his cisgender woman partner, they were in a domestic violence situation, and she said, well, he can't tell what happened because he passed away, but she said that he was beating her up and she stabbed him. So anyway, that's sad, but still a gospel icon. So those are people that are common. I also want to talk about people that are not common. So before I get into that, I want to ask y'all a question. Other than those people I just named, who are some queer musical icons that kind of that inspired y'all? Well, now I know Nippy is one of yours.
Well, Nippy always been one.
Yeah.
Nippy always been one. Nippy always been one. Yeah, I was close enough to the ground with my ear to back in the day to know she was around.
Oh
But
wow,
yeah, she's definitely one.
that's one of my lines in the play that I'm playing. That's weird that you said that.
What 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 is?
Having my ear to the ground.
Mm.
Oh
That's a
wow.
common
Yeah,
saying.
that's some weird shit, and that's not some common shit to say.
Yes, it is. That's a common colloquialism. Ear to the ground. Yes.
Well, maybe I'm playing a character who lives on the other side of the US. So maybe it is common over there, but I never really heard anybody say it until the play.
Yeah, that's a common saying.
Obviously Little Richard
Uh-huh.
as
Yeah.
well. Um, Definitely Little Richard and Nippy, big time. Uh, Queen Latifah, obviously,
Hmm.
who recently was like, "I'm out with my family," which is kind of cool. That was cool to see.
She ain't nothing changed. She been the fuck out, honey. The only thing new is that we done seen her son, honey. She been the fuck out with her wife forever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
But this
it's
is the
given
first
don't
time she
ask.
was out with her wife and the kid, kind of thing.
It
So,
gives. It's always given don't ask, don't tell, in my opinion.
I mean, for why? Back then, if you knew, you knew. It's my business. If you're in my world, you're in my world. If you're not in my world, it's none of your business. That was the attitude.
Honey, Little Kim told on her and the Brat back in the day. Y'all remember that song? I got a whole bunch of dykes on ninja bikes, and then you look at the video, and the ninja bikes is Queen Latifah and the Brat behind Little Kim.
That's funny.
What about you, Bree? What are some icons for you? Like some queer icons that kind of like, oh, this is representation I see.
I'm ready now to love you
Oh, sorry.
forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Tevin Campbell definitely. A tornado flew around my room before you came. Excuse them.
Frank
Frank
Ocean.
Ocean, of course.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite woman rappers right now that's currently making music. Um, she's an indie artist. Her name is Nikkeith. Some people might be familiar with her because she works for Gay Magazine, I believe. She's a correspondent with them. But yeah, Nikkeith, Nekeith. Definitely go look her up. Her album, well, her EP, Trendsetter, Transetter. Look up that EP. It's available on all streaming platforms. It's like 5 or 6 records, and it gives classic female rapper, female hip hop. Yeah, it's one of the dopest woman rap albums I've ever heard. Yeah, so she's one of my favorites now, but as Jay and my character and Bounce would say, honey, I keeps my ear to the ground. I keeps my ear to the ground for the people working. Of course, I love 2 a.m. Ricky. I am a huge fan of Ricky. I'm grateful to be able to have developing a relationship with him and Nina, Never Ending Nina. Love her too. I love the uniqueness in her voice and how confident she is singing. Because I'm somebody who I'm not very confident in my singing voice, and that's why I'm a songwriter. And I feel comfortable being a songwriter. But yeah, those are definitely people I look up to. And as I said recently on YouTube, for a lot of people who don't know, Ricky is behind the baddies rapping. 2 a.m. Ricky is their writer and producer. So when Natalie Nunn and the other girls be coming out with songs that actually be bops, think Ricky, honey.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, those other than everybody y'all names. Oh, and fun fact to share with y'all, there's one male role that I want to play and have always wanted to play as an actor. And if I got the job today, I would do it. Honey, I would strap these titties down and I would draw on my little mustache to be Little Richard, honey. A wah ba ba doo ba ba da bam boom. Honey. Baby. I think I could play him well, and I think I could get it, and I can sound like him when I sing. So yeah, play with me if you want, motherfucker. I bet you I'll get behind that piano, honey, with my conch and have y'all all tutti fruity on Rudy, and it don't have to be Pride Month, motherfucker.
Word. So
I'm just thinking while you were talking, Bree, too. I mean, I know MC Light is not family, but she family adjacent.
She is family.
Oh, she family. Okay, she's family.
Family fell the fuck down them steps because family want to be religious and family want to say that she prayed to get away. Fuck MC Light, she ain't getting no shine over here, bald head bitch.
Bahamadia, definitely the brat. Bahamadia as well. Definitely were, a stretch of rappers in the 90s and early 2000s for sure.
So I wanted to kind of go get a deep dive on people who were, I think, kind of like, their names may not be as popular. So I'm going to do a list of them too, because the names I said earlier are pretty popular. And I'm talking about people like I would look for people before I was born. So y'all talk about some more contemporary, but I would talk about people before I was born. So what was you about to say?
Billy, what's his name? Piano.
Billy Porter? Billy Eyelashes?
No, from back in the day.
The white man Billy?
No, black man Billy. He played gospel, he played pop music, he started when he was a kid. Oh my God.
I don't know no black man Billy except Porter.
Nothing for nothing, he's something. If you want to leave.
Oh, I don't even remember his name.
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Baby, I don't even know the melody.
I know.
He was real bad.
Nothing for nothing needs nothing. You gotta have something.
Yeah.
You talking about Boy George?
No, he's
no. No. Hold on.
I
feel so disrespectful right now.
I'm mad that y'all two know a song that I don't. Some mean nothing.
He was on that Malaco gospel thing too. One of the gospel legend sings.
Billy Preston.
Billy Preston. Lord have mercy.
I
Billy
didn't know he
Preston.
was
Billy
fagalicious.
Preston.
I didn't know Billy
He
Preston
was
was fagalicious
he
either.
was
Y'all didn't pull
open
two out
too.
the hat on the bitch.
He was open.
I feel like we at Hogwarts. Y'all done pulled two out the hat on the bitch. Who y'all? Billy
Yeah, he was
Preston
very
and
open.
Thorpe, the lady Thorpe, guitar. What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her first name?
Rosetta Thorpe. Yep.
Was that a thought?
Sister
Luzetta.
Rosetta Thorpe. Yeah. Yeah. Billy
Rosetta.
Preston.
Rosetta.
Rosetta.
Yeah.
Like Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
Child, I'm turning into my grandmother every day. I'm good for fucking the name up now.
Rosetta Tharpe. So these are some names that are not as commonly known. So one of the people is George Hanna, known as the Bullfrog Blues singer. He recorded openly gay blues tracks in the 1930s. His some of these songs are called "The Boy in the Boat" and "The Freakish Blues," which directly address the underground queer subculture of the era of the 30s, because there was a lot of queer shit going on. This is Renaissance, this is Harlem Renaissance,
Oh
this is
yeah.
when all of
That's
this
when
stuff was going on.
the Harlem Renaissance is when the ballroom scene started.
Yeah, the
Which,
Fanny
which ventured
Ball.
which ventured out into what we know now as the ballroom scene and the drag pageant scene.
Yes. So this is something, and I'm naming people who were openly, because there's a lot of, we talk about hidden and keeping stuff secret, but I'm kind of featuring people who was openly queer. Um, Another one is Frankie Half Pint Jackson, a vaudeville jazz singer who frequently performed in drag. Always, he had used all range of his voice from this depth to the falsetto. He was popular for his high pitched voice, and he recorded nothing but queer coded songs, nothing just humorous queer songs. It was just something that he did from the 20s and the 30s. So Frankie Half Pint Jackson. Somebody that was Ma Rainey was like a precursor to Bessie Smith. So Ma Rainey was older and she came out before her. Bessie Smith had a contemporary as well, one of her rivals in the music scene, and her name was Alberta Hunter. She was a major blues contemporary to Bessie Smith, and she chose to tour instead of staying in America and being under this racist da 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 da. She did what Josephine Baker did. She did what James Baldwin did, and say, "I'm getting the fuck up out of here." And she toured internationally to live more freely and be openly gay. She spent a decade in a committed relationship with a woman, and then she went kind of in obscurity, and then came back to a massive career comeback in the 1970s. So Alberta Hunter. Another one is Tony Washington, another gospel icon, the a dynamic lead singer of the gospel group, the Dynamic Dixie Wonders. He was just one of them feminine, Little Richard style people, but in the gospel era. And so they were also openly gay. Tony Washington. Um, the precursor, we talked about Jackie Shane and we talked about Little Richard. There was a precursor to both of those people who inspired them, who looked exactly like Little Richard, who Little Richard stole his look from, the conch, the makeup, the line, the line, and that's
Pancake
Escarita.
#5 or whatever. But
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Escarita, who was a wild and eccentric rock and roll pianist. Like I said, this is somebody that predates. So you know how Little Richard say, "I am the architect of rock and roll. I'm the originator and the creator." It was actually Escarita who 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 he was jocking off of. So I wanted to name him, who was also, openly queer and just one of those kind of early queer icons that was kind of before their time. And last but not least, this is somebody that I know personally. And when I met them, I didn't know that they were the icon that they were. And when I was younger, and then as I got to older and knew them, it was like, oh my fucking God, like you are a fucking icon. And so that would be somebody that people might not know. Carl Bean,
Yes.
He's the icon for two reasons. A musical
Yes.
icon because he was an underground disco artist who released all kinds of powerful, explicit, liberating songs. One of his songs was called "I Was Born This Way" on Motown in 1977. um, he later founded the Minority AIDS Project, and when later on in his career, which is also fucking iconic, Carl Bean became a minister and a archbishop, founding the Unity Fellowship movement in 1985. So that the whole denomination of church there he founded a
Right.
whole denomination of church that's really, really popular in like the California area. In 1985 specifically to serve Black LGBT Christians. And so he became one of the archbishops. And I think, I ain't 100% for sure, but I think Bishop Flunder is under him or one of his.
I think the T-Fam situation kind of started through them.
Yeah.
It's like whatever, something affirming ministries.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is one of
Yeah.
this is somebody who started that kind of queer affirming iconic
Black.
church era of the
Black. You
queer
have
affirming.
MCC, the Metropolitan Community Church, I think it stands for,
Yeah.
which is mostly whites. And that's totally different. I'm not saying hey, some people go to it, but like, yeah,
Yes.
yep.
And so
Yep.
Carl Green is not only was an iconic person in music in the disco scene, he also was an icon because he became and founded his own movement in church, creating a denomination for that accept queer people, and he was openly queer himself. So I got to meet Carl Bean, and
Wow.
he's somebody who was kind of like a uncle, mentor, father, and he just was so dope. He's just always
Wow.
showed me love, and he recently passed away a couple of years ago. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yes, iconic queer Black musical icons. And so that's all I wanted to share with y'all. So
Yeah.
let us know who are y'all musical Black icons. This is Pride Month. I want y'all to think about the queer artists that we have today. We named some of them. Bree named a few of them that out. We have to support our people. We can't just like
Oh, I forgot one. Shit. And I talk
I'm gonna
about
throw
his
one more
ass.
in as well.
I talk about his ass all the time, honey. Usher. Y'all know I love Usher.
who is Usher?
Usher Raymond. Confession.
Not queer.
Usher was
Allegedly?
outed and he ain't never denied, honey. I think it's giving the Queen Latifah don't ask, don't tell.
Child, that man has not ever
So
claimed that he was queer.
I'm gonna throw out not
He's been
Usher.
outed for being queer though. Shit.
So there's also this Canadian, I think he's American, but he like transitioned later in life, named Beverly Glenn Copeland. There's a doc I didn't even know about him. I saw like a documentary on PBS and learned about his music. And I think he's like a early person working with like synthesizers and tech and all this kind of stuff in music. Yeah, Beverly Glenn Copeland, I think is his name.
I live. But yeah, let us make sure you
Not Usher.
support your queer artists that are out now. Understand how the systems work and marginalization. Some people they really need your dedicated support, and so make sure you support those musical icons, especially this month. Make sure if you're hiring people to come and perform at your events, hire the queer people that are in our community. Don't just get the celebrity big people, da 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 da. Hire the queer people to come out and perform and bring, and honor them and give them some coins, for their artistry and their talent. And so, yes, let us know what queer musical Black icons inspired you. Hashtag Marsha's Plate.
Honey, hashtag MARSHASPLATE. Well, Y'all know the good sister Dominique Morgan has been released. I'm sure everybody has heard that by now. If you haven't, she is home,
Welcome
babe.
home, sister.
Welcome home, sister. And of course, she has, since she's been home, she has been giving huge shout outs to our very own Diamond Stylz, honey. In the words of Dominique Morgan, Diamond is a fucking icon, honey, baby. But no, she's out, she's released. Welcome home, sister, honey. She also did an interview last night. I don't know if y'all got the chance to see it. She did her post-release video interview. This is her first time being interviewed since being released, and she talks about the Okra Project, and she talks about why she pled guilty. And to paraphrase, she essentially said that she started working for the Okra projects, and it was a hot mess over there. Things were out of order. Her words, not mine. She said that there had been some misappropriating of the funding going on before she had got there. It was a mess. She ended up hiring two of her homegirls after she got the job, and well, ended up hiring a homegirl and another girl who was competing for the position. Long story short, there was a lot of misappropriating of the funding going on while she was there and after she left. And she basically wrapped up the interview saying that she pled guilty because she wanted it to be done. It was wearing on her mental health and all of the things. So first of all, did y'all see the interview? That's my first question.
I did. I was sat, baby, ready to see this tea spilled. Now I already knew all the tea, but it was good to see her free to talk about it and the messiness of it because the case was behind her now. Now that she done her, her 30 days or 20 days, I remember many days that she did. Now that she did her time, she could actually speak freely and talk all her shit and get the shit off her chest. I was like, I've been annoying, but I'm just glad that she was able to freely talk about it.
I did not see the interview, but I have seen like other like clips and posts of her talking when she was released.
We've already spoken about the Dominique Morgan situation even before she was released. After being released, have any
Wait,
of
wait,
y'all
wait,
feel?
wait, 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 wait. So that episode I put on my channel. I didn't put in the feed on Marsha's plate. So right, so just so you know, people who are listening, we have talked about this before a couple of weeks ago, but because we were going through planning of our live show and there was a lot going on, I wasn't able to edit that video in the way that I would other show, but I did quickly just cut it without editing it and put it up on my YouTube. So you can check to see what we said previously there. So yeah, so if you're
Yes.
new, if you only listen to the Marches Play feed, then this is our first time talking about this.
So if you haven't seen us talking about the Dominique Morgan situation, feel free to check it out on YouTube, Diamond Stylz YouTube channel, and yes, you can see it there. What are your thoughts, Diamond? Have your thoughts changed since you said you already knew the tea, but now that she's spoken freely, is there anything that you want to add after she spoke freely? Do you have any response at all?
Not about the tea. I have some things I want to say about the interview specifically, about the platform, about the interview, about just stuff that was being said while it was going on. You want me
Go
to do
off.
that to you?
Go ahead. Fill me in.
So I love that Dominique, when somebody was in the chat saying they were saying different places that she should have talked about this was. And I think there was people talking about with us or da 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 da. And I think her answer was perfect. Listen, two things. She had never been on Crazy Sexy Film. Dominique has been on Marsha's Play 2 or 3 times. She's been on here. I think her exploring a new platform was amazing, but also we talked about this last when we first talked about it. There is a bias that we are going to have because we are friends with Dominique. And then there's going to be people who are watching it be like, "Oh, well they biased. They not going to ask the hard question." She decided to go on this platform with Crazy Film Sexy Cool and with Tabitha and Asia, and she don't really know them like that. She's not cool with them. She's not in cahoots with them. Yes, they know each other, but they're not friends. And so they're unbiased and can actually say what ask questions, ask the hard questions, and I just thought it was a perfect response.
And to even add even more nuance to what you're touching on, Diamond, in fact, Tabitha has openly admitted to being friends and having relationships and sisterhood with some of the people who Dominique threw under the bus in her interview. So I think that also gave the interview an extra edge, because if there was any bias on Tabitha's part, the bias would have been against Dominique. So I think that is the best way to be interviewed. I think the best way for Republicans to be interviewed is by Democrats and vice versa. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. But any more thoughts?
If I was interviewing her now, because I actually feel like I would have intentionally been unbiased in the sense of asking hard questions. If she did come here, I would have asked hard questions for the sake of, bitch, this is what the motherfuckers want to know. So even though, it's not going to change my mind about you, sister, but the people want to know this tea. So let's have our question. So I do have a question that I would have asked if that I think would be a hard question. And I already knew the answer without even asking her this. But one of the questions I would have loved for them to ask in that space was, okay, you put yourself in this situation. You said that you said that you knew how to do this fucking nonprofit shit. You was a bad bitch. You knew how to do funds. You knew how to do all the shit. So, bitch, why the fuck when you got hired on at Okra and you come in and you the boss now, how the fuck you didn't get a fucking account for them? Bitch, that don't make fucking sense to me. If I come into a fucking org and the first thing I see is they ain't got no debit cards or bank accounts, I'm creating some debit cards and some bank accounts for them. Why the fuck you gonna come into a space that's fucked up and you have the power to do this stuff and you don't do that shit automatically so that you're not in this situation where everybody doing fucking receipt reimbursements and blah, 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 blah. Because you say you a bitch that know about this shit. So ain't no excuse for you to come in this fucking raggedy org and not get it together. You need to be fucking like Joe Jackson when he came into that high school. Not Joe Jackson, Joe Clark. When Joe Clark came into high school on Lean on Me and did what he needed to do to get it together. That's how you should have been when you first got the fucking job. So my question would have been, bitch, why you didn't set up the system that you already knew, because you know this shit, to make this shit flow on some legal and legit shit? Why the fuck would you let that shit go on for months? Now, what I believe the answer is, to me, it's on some Dr. Cheyenne Bryan shit. It's like, I don't want to get a licensure because I don't want to be under the rules and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's what I think. I could be, and that's not on no malicious shit. It's on some, I'm able to do what she described. I'm able to pay for this girl stuff, pay for this girl titties, pay for this. I'm able to pay for these things for people on some quote unquote Robin Hood shit because I don't have any oversight. I can just do what the fuck I want to do and make it work. And so for me, in my mind, that is what I would have asked, because that's what I think you did wrong. I think you should have came in the situation and cleaned everything up, and you didn't. And so it made you vulnerable for these bitches to railroad you, even though they was already, all of them before you came, was playing with the money, and after you came, after you left, was playing with the money. So that's what I would have asked.
Now, one more time, what did you say about the receipts? About receipts versus a reimbursement? Can you say that one more time?
So how it was set up when she got in, they didn't have a bank account. And so how they were having to pay for stuff and having to do for things, was out of all the workers' account. And they were supposed to give receipts, and it was basically show me the receipts, and then we will reimburse you type of situation. And so
where's the reimbursement money coming from?
From the fiscal sponsor.
But how is the fiscal sponsor providing the reimbursement? There's no bank account to put the money in to get the reimbursement.
But it was going from their personal accounts.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's why you can mix up because she was imagine. So imagine she is we're kind of throwing out there she was making $200,000 a year. But we're also indicting her and making her being weird about a closet she renovated. A $30,000, $50,000 closet. You don't think a bitch that make $200K can afford a $30,000 closet to do a renovation? That's why
she making $25,000 a fucking month.
Right. She can pay this fucking closet on her own. But because all of this shit legit is coming out from her account, you don't know what is the business is, what is hers, what is because reimbursements is happening off of all kind of stuff. What was new in regard to that is when she said that the fucking receipts that everybody is using as, these the evidence, they showed the fake receipts. She said that they didn't even come up in the discovery. So them motherfuckers didn't even fucking exist.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted to point out, because so many people, I mean, she still has this hate train going. And even people within our community have hopped on the Dominique Morgan hate train, right? And what people responded to this interview is giving me the impression that they either didn't listen to it or they couldn't comprehend it because they don't know the jargon. They don't understand the idea of how nonprofits work and fiscal sponsors and all of these things. Because the biggest thing I got out of the interview was that something's not clean in the buttermilk. You allegedly stole $100,000 and you only had to do 3 weeks for that. That in itself is making me like side eye. I'm also side eyeing because we all know how common it is for people to misappropriate funds in nonprofits, and most of them don't see jail time. I know in many cases with many nonprofits, they try to avoid that shit even getting in the headlines because they don't want it to affect the entire brand of the nonprofit. So knowing all of these things and then hearing her talk about the fact that the people complaining didn't even show up to fucking court. The fact that this alleged evidence of her misappropriating $100,000, they don't even have in the paperwork for court. Automatically right there, I'm side-eyeing a whole bunch of stuff. And I have a whole bunch more questions, but now my questions ain't for Dominique. My questions is for the other people who she brought up, the other people involved in the Okra Project at the same time that she was, and the people who were involved before and after. Because again, after she left, the Okra Project is now doing fundraisers. Like, y'all supposed to have millions of dollars. Like, where the hell is the money going?
And now the fiscal is closed.
I also am a bit biased, and I didn't bring this up before when we spoke about it because I didn't want to speak out on anything that I knew personally until she spoke out, right? Because I wanted to hear what she was going to say, and I didn't want to say something, and then it'd be like, "Oh, Bree, that's common sense, So I wanted to hear what she had to say. I really didn't know the whole situation. I had been hearing rumors behind the scenes like everybody else. I know for facts that Dominique was very helpful with Aya Damon's and Safe Haven here in Baltimore. I have gone online and vlogged Safe Haven helping me with housing, for example. And in those vlogs, I have explained how these funds ain't even just going to Black trans people. They're going to Black people all over the city to help them fight homelessness. So I say all that, and I bring up this instance, or I bring up instances that I'm aware of Dominique helping to fund things going on here in Baltimore.
Wait. You on one right now. We wouldn't be here. What? We did this for free for many years. And it got to a point where I could say, hey, I can pay y'all. Dominique didn't pay us, but Dominique made connections with people who was able to invest in us still existing.
Same
with
still
having a salary.
Yep, same with initiatives I've seen her participate in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that because I am biased because I have seen firsthand the work that she's done to help not only me but other people around me. So that's another reason that I'm biased, and I also bring that up because there's still contention around the idea that these funds didn't go toward helping people, that a lot of these, and that's not true. I can't tell you exactly how much she spent on various organizations, or how much money she's helped to move, or how much funding she's helped other people to get. But I can tell you, based on what I've seen, it's giving the impression that it's been more than $100,000.
But that wasn't the pool of money that we're talking about in regards to this. It wasn't the Ochre project money. Mm-hmm. I want that to be clear. That the
she said one thing she did say in the interview also that that they had bailed out, I think she said 20 people. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So from what I know, the Ochre project money was supposed to be used for that. And if it was used for that, then like how many people do you think you're going to be able to bail out for $100,000?
In one of the posts she made, she was talking about, just like the board and some other things. Because when you broke some of that down, I'm thinking, like to your point, Diamond, it's like, she was put in a situation where she clearly was going to be vulnerable to any bullshit. What's up with the fiscal sponsor being like, oh, okay, that's weird to me. What's up with the, what I'm saying? This is like, the board is the boss of the executive directors. That's how nonprofits work. Particularly, there's different types of boards, let's be clear. Like if you're in a nonprofit that might be a little smaller, you don't have a lot of funding, you might have an active board that helps do the work. But when you're talking about that organization that receives, millions of dollars with this kind of budget on that level, usually that board, that's who is the boss of the person in charge, right? So where was the board?
They got fired for stealing money before she got brought on.
Oh, so she came on into a situation where there's no board.
And
hold up, so there was no board. And the fiscal sponsor was like, cool, just, we're cool with how we're going to distribute this money. Both of those things, to your point, Diamond, would have been a red flag, because then you put me in a position where there's no real actual oversight, which if I'm the ED, I got to have oversight to protect me and the organization. And when you don't have, and technically with an organization, when you have a board of directors, if something goes down, that's who gets sued.
Now, wait. Another element too. Now, this is what I know from my understanding of the situation. Not only did she come into it without a board, the people who ousted her, she put in positions of power.
Right, I did push that.
There was the
board.
Yes, they were put on to have a power in regard to a vote.
So let me back up, make sure I'm understanding clearly. So the people that are talking shit are people who were actually on the board. while she was still working there at a certain point? Like she rebuilt the board?
From what I'm to understand, they had some kind of power within the new system. There was no system when she this is another element of Dominique. But I told her this. I told her this when she brought this shit to me. I told her this. This is before anything blow up. And that's why when she said, I wish I wouldn't have been like she thought she kind of brushed it off. But she had people in her ear saying, this seems kind of weird. Them bitches gonna throw you under the bus. This seemed kind of strange.
Right.
Because my mindset was, as she said, you got these bitches who sleeping in cars and sleeping on couches. You talking about broke, hungry ass bitches that you putting in positions of power that's seeing that these coffers and situation is raggedy. Why wouldn't you expect them to throw you under the bus just to get access to the coffers? And literally, that's what they did. Soon as they saw that, ain't no fucking oversight in this bullshit, let's push her out so that we can get access to the shit.
But and also, honestly, I'm just saying, like, with the fiscal sponsor, and we've talked about this over the years on the show, when the money was coming towards trans shit, and people weren't necessarily always following up around the output of that work, or not following up in the way that you traditionally would do, because everybody wanted to say, I'm supporting some trans shit, right? And that's a fucking problem. Why was the fiscal sponsor like, yeah, cool? That to me is also a fucking red flag, because that's not normal. Right? Like, that's not how this shit works. But we were in an era, because Dominique's not the only person that probably got put in some kind of weird ass position like this during this era of, the gays got marriage, we're going to fund trans shit, and not necessarily do it in a way where you're making sure that, okay, Dominique's this person now. We want to make sure Dominique has all the skills and the fucking information and the education to do, outside of folks like yourself and others checking in with her. I'm talking about for the fucking fiscal sponsor. If you actually give a fuck about trans people, you want to make sure that trans people have all the skills, the knowledge, and all this kind of shit to do this shit in the most effective fucking way. And a lot of people got paid, a lot of people got titles, and a lot of people got a lot of fucking money, but did not get the support to do this kind of work properly, and got left hanging in a lot of different fucking situations, not just this one. And that really pissed me off. And we've talked about it over the years, Diamond, on the show. Since you've been here, when I first came on, I was like,
I can't let Dominique off the hook in that way. I know exactly what you're talking about in regards to how some people don't have the skills and the support and blah, blah, blah. But Dominique,
I'm not saying you don't have the skills. I'm just saying the support to do the shit properly. So you got to dot every I and cross every T. And that's my point. Is that they should have been helping her to make sure that every I could get dotted and every T could get crossed, as the fiscal sponsor supporting her and the organization at a point where they have no board.
Yeah.
Especially.
So while I know situations where I can sympathize in that situation, I can't simultaneously acknowledge that Dominique is a bad bitch in her fundraising and running the org. She grew Black and Pink. You get what I'm saying? I can't acknowledge that you got skills on that level, especially when you bragging about Alana not having them and you do have them. I can't simultaneously give you your credit for what the fuck you do and then coddle you and say you didn't know better. You needed the fiscal to come in and help you. No, she knew what was going on. She knew the structure of the nonprofit. And this is where I think, as her friend, that I think she went wrong. You left it open for, and I told her this too. I told her this.
Vulnerable.
You left yourself open to this type of game because you were naive. You from Nebraska. You were naive thinking that if you help these bitches get to a fire ass level, that they wouldn't backstab you, that they wouldn't throw you under the bus and make you the scapegoat, because that's what the fuck they did.
Where's Uncle Project based out of?
Uncle Project based out of New York.
Exactly.
And she wasn't even in New York at first, so she didn't even know all the stuff that was going on.
She never was.
We all on the same page. being in a city where there's like way fucking more money, like way more money floating around for queer shit, trans shit,
Way
like
more
in Seattle,
sharks.
the West Coast, East Coast, above the Mason-Dixon line, for the most part, like it gets wild. It's a whole different ball game than what we navigate in the Midwest. It's a very different ball game. I would even suggest that it's a different ball game than, even though Baltimore is right there, than even Baltimore, because it's just way more money that's been around for way longer.
And I
you
think
already have
honestly,
all these, to
in
your point, like
traveling
all
this
this
country,
other
I think that here
shit
on the
going
East
on.
Coast, we tend to have a more dog eat dog mentality when it comes to people anyway.
Well, more
Southern
money, more problems.
hospitality is a real thing, and Midwesterners being kind-hearted, I think is a real thing. Of course, you
Well,
have your
boom.
outliers, but overall, I think the culture is a bit different.
I think one of the big differences is, and I'm sure that Dominique has experienced this, where you coming from a place that has way less resources, where you're doing, in some ways, depending on what the type of work is, you're doing a lot more with a lot less. And then you come into a situation where there's a lot more funding, and that you like, shit, let's do this. We about to blah 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 blah. I can make this work, da 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 da, without, to your point, Bree, knowing about, the dog eat dog, and da, 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 in the culture that is different when you talking about, oh, here's $5 million. Here's da, 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 da. That's a whole different ball game when you are kind of going from more grassroots to somewhere where there's just way more money
And the
involved.
amount of money,
Yeah,
the amount of
or
money
in the culture, yeah.
the amount of money changes your flexibility because when I see how people who is I'm like I'm on boards in California. I'm on TLC's board. And so seeing the amount of money that they have, even a transgender district, seeing being in community with people who are fighting over millions or battling for grants over millions, where I'm also here in Texas where that money is nowhere near
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
type of something. So there's a diligence that we have to have here because we don't
Yeah.
have the luxury. You can destroy your career super heavy where you got to move somewhere. And we've seen that here in Texas where somebody did some fucking, not even no big shit like that, but some shady ass shit where they can't even live in Houston no more because it
Wow.
ruins their reputation because that's how it is. And your relationship, because the resources are so scarce, relationship is super super important, and you can
Yep.
really be impactful, whereas this person can be over this 2 million, 4 million, 5 million, 16 million, blah blah blah. They go somewhere to some other org
Wow.
that's over 2 4. It's almost
Honey,
more flexibility.
Diamond, I used to joke
honey,
around like,
they reelected Marion Barry, and he was a whole fucking crackhead over here.
and impactful as a politician. Uh, I used to joke around, like, when I first got out to the West Coast, about like how, like, what I was used to, oh, you using the bathroom, you costing us money, right? Like everything, because you just don't have as much money. To your point, it's like we dotting every I, we crossing every T, we pitching in every penny, because it's just not, there's not the same level of opportunities to get grants from government, okay? Your county, your city, your state, that's not related to public health. And then also you don't have as many private funders, like, who live there, where you can just, I'm gonna get this grant from whatever foundation that's in my city, not over there. Not I'm compete. It is definitely a whole different ball game. And I
And
can, yeah,
oversight in
yeah,
regards to what you're talking about, and oversight. We can't do
yeah,
nothing wrong without these red motherfuckers dragging,
exactly, exactly,
as opposed to in a
exactly.
blue
When you get to
state,
that,
in the
yeah,
in the in a blue state where it's nothing but even the fucking
We get
Republicans
away
is
with it.
kind of,
We get away with a little bit more over
yeah.
here, and
Whereas
it's
in a red state, honey, we couldn't even
right.
write a letter to the school department as the fucking as the commissioner, LGBT commissioner, without them fucking putting something out without doxing us. We're talking about a letter in support of trans kids at the school system. They were fucking doxing us because we just had a letter of support.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you can't just do something wrong here because the Rebs are fucking gonna call you out, gonna say something. So you gotta dot your I's and cross your T's.
Right. And then, like in a place like Wisconsin and some places that are kind of like in between, we got a Democratic governor, Republicans control the state legislature. It's the first state to add sexual orientation to the non-discrimination for the state, all that kind of stuff. That's great. But yeah, you better dot every I and cross every T because people get scared. Like it may not be to the level of like what y'all have experienced in Texas around doxing, but even allies, right? They're just like, we got to make sure we cover all the bases, all potential problems. Anything that could potentially come up, we need to make sure we take care of that because you're gonna end up you end up in a struggle because people want to, take you out versus a state like, California, Oregon, Washington, New York, where Democrats, I think Washington State is one of the few states that turned bluer in the midterms. Like they picked up more seats for the Democrats during the midterms. So like ain't no, you know what I'm saying? They run that shit top to bottom, period. So but yeah, it's definitely I can see how coming from what some people call the Midwest, Nebraska, I call it the Plains, because I think of Midwest, upper Midwest. But yeah, I can see how coming from there, like Milwaukee probably has more money and resources than the places in Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's in coming from here, that was night and day going to the West Coast. So that had to be pretty intense. And when you're motivated by the work in the community and you come into a place where people motivated by money, that's a whole different world.
You thinking that the girls is your sisters and you doing all this nice stuff for them. And I think because, Dominique did a bid a long time. So, and she transitioned in 2020. She ain't been in the spaces with the girls like, me or Bree have. Well, we know a motherfucker, these bitches is cutthroat. You cannot play games with these hoes. They will get you together. And so, that sister shit, it got to be proven. It can't just be said. And I think that Dominique, in the beginning of her transition, she transitioned in 2020. So I think she felt like if I do right by the girls, they'll do right by me. And that ain't always fucking true. And I think she was in a situation where she made herself vulnerable and she put herself as a fucking sitting duck to be the scapegoat for a raggedy ass organization on multiple people's part.
I didn't want
you brought up a huge point. She wasn't a pageant girl. She wasn't a ballroom girl. She didn't begin nonprofit as a girl. So, and the fact that she had been unable to socialize for so long during crucial socialization periods for anybody. I think that, there were a lot of people on top of people's dog eat dog mentality, on top of people just being trash people, on top of addiction and all of these things that we see that can affect a situation like throwing somebody under the bus. In a situation like this, on top of all that, I don't think any of the girls really felt loyalty to her because she didn't grow up with us in that sense of being around and being on the scene when we were all coming up together. So I think that was just an added component that made her a target for all the people who were wondering, like, well, why Dominique out of everybody that they could have threw under the bus? Well, to a lot of people in the trans community, Dominique was, and some of them still do, see her as an outsider. I've heard girls say things like they don't think that she's really trans. So that in itself proves that proves bias. But again, if you're not in certain cliques Honestly, because that's the way humans are. We tend to click up. If you're not in certain cliques, then you don't know how certain people really do operate.
I'm gonna, yeah, with that too, places that are more transient, like a New York, like a Seattle, like a LA, like the Bay Area, like a DC, places where it's more transient, you know, there's an element where there's people that are from there, and then there's an element where you have a large chunk of folks who are in and out. And in those situations, it's a lot easier to take advantage of people, to kind of run folks through the ringer. Community care looks very different in cities where people aren't in and out all the time. Because
Yeah, that's
accountability
it.
was
That's exactly what I was
accountability,
saying,
yeah,
Jack. It's
accountability
it's
looks different.
loyalty. It's
Yeah,
it's home
accountability
it's
is different.
hometown. It's
Right.
hometown. It's hometown loyalty. That
Yeah,
that's exactly
accountability.
what it
We
is.
don't.
You're an outsider.
I'm just saying, like out, like running through people like that in smaller communities, that does not happen at the same rate because ain't nobody going nowhere. We all grew up together, or we all know each other over the years. Even if, like you said, Brie, like even if you weren't in the ball scene or the pageant scene or any of that, but if you grew up, I grew up in Milwaukee. I can go to the bars and see folks I haven't seen in like 10 years. And they're like, hey, how you doing? Right? Because most people, are here, so like, and know how vulnerable the community is. So just kind of fucking people over just to fuck people over and all that kind of shit. I don't know what it's like in other places, but I know, people don't play that shit out here on to the same degree because they know everybody just trying to figure this shit out. As Black people, you know what I'm saying? As queer people, as trans people, we all we got. And places that got more money where people come in and out, a lot, folks don't necessarily have that we got mentality, yeah, that's just yeah, that's yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Woo. Not your eyes, cross your T's. That's what it. Shit.
Do I have any final thoughts? Bitch, I'm tired. We've been talking about this for a month. Come on. It's okay. She out. She free. I'm glad that my sister's free. I'm glad that it's under her. I'm glad that she can read your hoes. Cause bitch, when that bitch said that you bitches is crossing me wearing my wigs. Wait, I gotta play this. This is so funny. I'm sorry. I gotta play it. Just cause this is a motherfucking key. When she said this, I was gagged. I was cackling.
I'm never gonna have anybody play with my life again, especially bitches that I pulled from the gutter. One of you bitches was laying up eating a white trans man's pussy for housing, and the other bitch was living in her car. And I brought you to New York and gave you six-figure salaries, and I put you on platforms you never should have been on. You played in my face in my own wigs. Gabrielle, you wake up every day playing in my face with titties on your chest I paid for out of my own pocket. You rotten, trifling bitch.
Woo!
Wow.
So that's my last word is that I'm tired of this shit, and that was a motherfucking key, baby. I'm only kikiing about it from now on.
Baby, yes. Same, honey. If you haven't heard my final thoughts and my response on this, honey, you're gonna have to check out my platforms because I'm not repeating this shit no more. Again, we didn't already talked about it for a month. All the people who want Dominique to be thrown away, that is your thoughts, that is your opinion, honey. But you being online hooting and hollering and bringing her name up is not throwing her away. That is keep continuing to keep her relevant. But I'm glad that my sister.
Wait, before you close out, I do want to say one more thing about accountability. Restorative justice accountability should have happened before y'all took that shit to the Brooklyn DA. If you were thinking about any kind of restorative situation, accountability, community accountability, that's supposed to happen before you take it to the motherfucking state. When you take it to the state, that shit is over. Bitch, she done did her time. That's her accountability situation. She done did her time. And if you want some kind of restore, that's too late, baby. You took what you wanted is for the state to give the accountability. Right. And that's what the fuck they did. So now, don't be motherfucking mad that they didn't have enough evidence, they didn't have a good case, and she only did motherfucking 30 days. That was her accountability. Let that fucking shit go. That don't mean that you can't need to continue to fuck with her. No. But bitch, stop talking about accountability because you hoes don't give a fuck about accountability. Because if you did, as far as community, y'all wouldn't have took that shit to the fucking state. Because that's one thing that I hate. I am never going to align with the motherfucking state. Fuck them. I'm never going to align with them. So if you take it to the state, don't act like you about some community and restoring because you not whole. Get the fuck out of here. So I wanted to add that. If you wanted to restore her, you should have fucking made an accountability plan right then. But they didn't. They took it to the state. Now she did her accountability with the 30 days. Let that shit go. Ride it out.
Yeah.
Also, Diamond, it's like, why are people like tripping when it's like, damn, she went to jail? Like, what more accountability? Like, what more accountability?
Honey, we're not even entertaining that bullshit no more. Like I was saying, the people who want to throw her away, go ahead and throw her away. But I'm just making you aware that you being in all of our comment sections is not throwing her away. That is continuing to keep her relevant. For all the people who don't know her name, when they see y'all talking about her in the comment section, they're going to look her up, dummy. But yeah, no. If y'all want to throw her away, I'm not throwing her away. Diamond has made it clear she's not throwing her away. I don't think Jen even is on social media well enough to be a great supporter, but I'm sure he's not throwing her away.
Yeah, I don't believe in throwing away community. No, I don't believe
but yeah, if you want to throw her away, then you do that on your time. But we're not doing that over here, so leave us alone. Yeah, because me personally, I don't want no supporters that's quick to throw a Black trans woman away, period. Especially when she ain't raped nobody or killed nobody. All right, thank you. Have a nice day. And make sure you let us know what you think. This one last time. Hashtag Marsha's Plate. That's hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme you a feeling and a high you never come down from. Whoa.
Okay, so what is bringing y'all euphoria this week?
Oh my, my life back on stage is bringing me euphoria this week. Yes, honey, we opened Bounce. The world premiere of Bounce has taken place here in Baltimore at the Strand Theater. I am one of the characters in the play. I have a very pivotal role. I am the mother of the star of the lead in the play. I play the mother. And I just love being back on stage. Yeah, and I'm grateful that my talents are being recognized. Not trying to brag, but every time I'm on stage, I get more opportunities to act. Every time I'm in front of a camera, I get more opportunities to act. And for a long time, I have been running away from my calling as a thespian because I came from a family, not an entire family, but I've had people in my family put in my ear that they didn't want me to have a life in entertainment and have even tried to manipulate me into refraining from a life in entertainment. But as we all know, what's meant for us is meant for us. And apparently I'm somebody who's meant to be in front of the camera and or on the stage. And it makes sense for me. Everything about me makes sense. I'm extra, I'm dramatic. And why not do that for a living? Okay. But no, yeah, definitely if you're gonna be in the Baltimore area, the play has been extended until June 13th. So come out and check us out, baby, honey, Friday, Saturday nights, and Sunday afternoons. Man, and it is a vibe. But it's been a lot going on over here. You know, the Baltimore Free Ball just passed, and I also got to get a fix from being around all of the transgenders. Honey, yet again, we just left the transgenders in Minneapolis, and now I'm here in Baltimore again with the ballroom transgenders, honey, doing cartwheels and backflips off of tables and shit. Yes, I love it here. I love being queer. Thank you, honey. Jay, what's bringing you euphoria?
What is bringing me euphoria? My great nephew, my niece's son, just graduated from high school this weekend, and also my nephew, not my great nephew, he had a birthday this weekend, so I got to spend some time with family. My sister rolled up here. Um, it was nice to be in like the family kind of house that we all kind of grew up in, like multiple generations of us grew up in that house, and yeah, it was real chill. It was very chill. So that's bringing me euphoria, getting a chance to spend some time with family. I was able to call my dad so he could be like, "Happy birthday," like so everybody kind of got, in the mix. It was just really nice. So that's bringing me euphoria. Congrats, grads to other folks who have recent graduations from Marsha's play. What about you, Dominic? What's bringing you euphoria this week?
Oh my God. So, um, I want to shout out my YouTube subscriber people. I don't be liking to say fans or shit. That's kind of weird to me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, ditto.
Wait,
That's
what's
what
weird?
I always say supporters. Diamond, we're gonna have to help each other come up with a creative name for our supporters, for each other's supporters.
yeah, I used to call them the Glimmers because my name is Diamond.
Oh,
Oh, that's
honey, I was
cute.
thinking stylistics, but hey.
Oh, that's cute
That
too.
has to,
Stylistics.
but I've been
Let's go
doing
Valley Wild. Yeah.
period. I've been doing lives for a while now, but this week I did really in May. I really did some I've had some fun conversations with them. I had um I had a conversation about us coming to another woman as a woman. Like if you
Uh-huh.
my man
Uh-huh.
talking about that, I had a conversation about Kev on stage and Bible and some of my church trauma. I had a conversation alive about, the trans obsession. Like, why are people obsessed with trans people right now? And I went into some history like in regards to that. We talked about labels this week in regards to Young Ma
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah,
and
you did.
not Young Ma, Young Ma, um,
Uh-huh.
Young Ma and EJ Johnson and them dating straight people, quote unquote, and how those labels work. Um, and I even talked about this last one I did was about the gaydar and how the gaydar kind of perpetuate certain stereotypes, and everybody still claims the gaydar and just all kind that kind of stuff. And it's just the engagement, the conversation, the depth of conversations. I just fuck with my people, and it's just fun to engage and it's just dope. So I that's what this week has brought me euphoria. Just these amazing conversations that we have, people joining in, funny moments where random people come in and be too churchy, and my moderators will block them, or but disrespectfully churchy, or some people will come in and do some it just even moments like that, it still makes it fun, or somebody will say something funny, or it'll be like a clash and it'll still be good. It's just that's what's brought me euphoria this week. My live people who join in on the live. So yeah, if I go live every Friday at 7, that's the normal schedule, 7 Central
Central
Time.
Standard Time.
But sometimes I just randomly go live like on a Sunday or a Tuesday if I feel like I need a conversation. But yeah, that's what brought me euphoria this week. Let
Funny
us know.
enough, it seems like we always the fuck going live at the same time, girl.
That's when you go live.
No, it seems like every time I'm about to go live or when I come off of a live, that's when I see you either coming off of a live or being live at that current time.
Oh, mine is always from 7 to like usually go but like 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes be going 5 if the conversation good.
I
But
be seeing.
yeah, 2 to 3, and then so yeah, it's usually Friday and until like 1 or 12 something. I don't know, something late. And yeah. But yeah, let us know what is bringing y'all euphoria this week. Hashtag Marsha Play, and we will see y'all next week.
Honey, baby, hasta luego. And don't forget, we not talking about our sister no more. Not that incident, no motherfucking way.
Period.
We love y'all.
Well, that's it. Thank you for coming and getting a taste of Marsha's Plate. You can listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure you leave a review because we really need those 5 stars, y'all.
And go like our Facebook page and leave some comments. We will be posting exclusive content every Thursday, so you definitely don't want to miss out.
You can also follow us on Twitter and any other social media site at Marsha's Plate. If you'd like to donate or advertise with us, hit us up at diamondstylz@gmail.com. That's Diamond STYLZ@gmail.com.
And that's it for us, y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You gonna say bye, Mia?
Oh, bye, y'all.
Every little thing's gonna be